Afternoon, guys. Back again for another miserable review of Tottenham's performance. Still not got an away win. Close, but no cigar. What a dreadful game. It really did feel like a mid-table at best battle. Possibly a bottom of the table clash. That's how it felt. It was a dire game to watch with very little to get excited about. And once again, all the talk, apart from the obvious, is going to be about Pochettino and his tactics and his team selection. I've got to be honest, it is getting really difficult now to understand what's going on in Poch's mind in terms of the guys that he's picking for the team and where we go. Even as a Pochettino fan, which you guys know I am, I was really scratching my head yesterday at the inclusion yet again of Christian Eriksen. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Pochettino is a very loyal manager. He likes players to play through their slumps and so on. But it just feels so much like Eriksen is not trying to get out of that slump. Now this, again, I say it time and time again, this is all about opinions, right? We everybody's entitled to it, and other people can see it a different way. But as much as I'm urging Eriksen on in my mind and in my heart to be just going through a slump, but really trying, it's just not what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is a player who is A, out of form, but B, doing nothing to rectify it. He's trotting around the pitch with no urgency, with no endeavour, with no purpose. There were several occasions yesterday where you can see it's a tackle that needs to be made and he just doesn't make him. He just doesn't get close enough to it, and I get it. He's not a hard man. He's not a tough guy. He's not the sort of guy who's going to go and put his foot in or whatever. But he is a guy who can get in the way, can force an error, can chivvy the guy along, that kind of thing. But you just don't feel like he's doing it. And it is just so frustrating to watch. And I cannot, for the life of me, believe that Mauricio Pochettino isn't seeing that. I'm sure he is. He's got to be seeing it. He's a very astute man. He's a very successful man. He is a manager at the top level. So you cannot tell me that he cannot see players not playing to their potential and not putting it in. Now, if this is a case of putting the guy in the window or trying to get him through that, he's seriously really needs to get hold of him and say to him, listen, if you want to move to another club, you're going the wrong way about it, geezer. You're not doing what you need to do. It's the same for any of us. If you do a shit job, you don't get a promotion. If you want to get on in your career, you need to be seen to be the best. You need to be having good people saying good things about you, not good people saying crap things about you. And quite frankly, it's getting to the point now where he's just a lost cause. And it really feels like we should be cutting our losses and saying, you know what, I'd rather lose with a player who is putting 110% in, who really wants to win and really wants to play for my team, than a guy who's just cruising and waiting for his next opportunity. And I hate to just pick out one player You know, I hate to jump on that bandwagon of he's not doing it for us and he's our problem. Because he's not our problem. It's not just Eriksen who's the problem, right? You know, ultimately, you know, a whole team needs to turn up, not just one player. But yesterday's game was crying out for creativity. There was no creativity in the team at all. Our best player, in my opinion, was Ndombele. He was the only one trying to push forward. He was the only one trying to make something happen. And what happens? He gets yanked off to bring on the Celso. Now, with all due respect to that guy, he's coming back from injury. And there's a lot of expectation on him. The only guy who's really been doing anything, you're taking off to put someone on who's coming back from injury. Fair enough. You know, maybe he's ready. Maybe he can create something. But if it all falls on him, that's even harder. Surely he needs someone to work with. And if Eriksen isn't providing that, then surely he should have been the one to have been taken off. You know, am I going mad? You know, I'm finding it really, really difficult to stay positive and stay focused and accepting of what's going on. I'm finding it really, really tough. I've got to be honest. And that's not me. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm still going to support Tottenham whatever happens. I'm still going to be there next Saturday against Sheffield United. You know, I'll still be cheering the players on. And no, I don't want to hear, you know, people booing our own players. You know, we're not Arsenal. We don't do that. You know, we support our players. That's what we should be doing. But at the same time, someone's got to be questioning this. What the hell's going on? And the other one who always gets pulled out of this has got to be Serge Aurier. Serge Aurier is in the team. He's playing in the team. He's had a run of games now, but he's still not learning. In the first half, the guy dived on his feet and was lucky to win the ball to get it away. Because for me, it was a banged on, dangerous tackle. I'm looking at him thinking, mate, you're gonna get booked for that straight away. He didn't. He got away with it. But for me, it was just the tone of it. I just thought, here we go again. And to be honest, I just cannot see where he's gonna, you know, get out of this rut of doing what he's doing, because it seems to be in his makeup. And I look at Juan Foyth sitting on the bench, and I'm thinking, surely he's got to be an option. Surely we should be looking at him and saying, you know, do what you can, mate. You know, let's see what you're up to. You know, and it beggars belief for me that it's not really happening. I just don't get it. You know, I'm kind of lost in the whole thing. So I've had my little rant, and I'm not going to complain too much about the team selection, apart from those two, who I just felt really could just do with changing. I just think that, you know, they're clearly not having an impact. I worry so much about Aurier's temperament, and as I say, with Eriksen being the way he is, it's just so frustrating that a player with such quality can just be just so poor. Even you know, well, I think I've said enough about that anyway. But yeah, so the rest of the squad I didn't think was too bad. So kind of brings me on to the other points about yesterday. VAR. I've got to be honest, I've never really been a fan of it. I you know, whether we benefit from it or not, I'm still not a great lover of it. I still think, well, you know, I much prefer the referee to make a decision, and that's the end of it. You know, and if it's a poor decision, it's a poor decision. You know, they're only human, they make a mistake. But when you're then relying on passing it to somebody else who's got far more tools to look at to make a decision than the referee's got, because the referee's looking at it in real time, so it's understandable that the referee can make a mistake, right? So, but then you passing it on to somebody else who can make a decision, looking at different angles and all the rest of it, and I'm just flabbergasted, really, that there were two bang-on VAR decisions yesterday that, for me, were both incorrect. You know, Sonny was fouled. It was a penalty. Absolutely bang on. You cannot see it any other way. I just do not understand it. Yes, Sonny went down theatrically, and I don't think that helps, and I don't see the need for it. I don't see why Sonny needed to do that. But for me, it was a penalty. The guy fell on his leg and took him out of the game. So for me, it's a penalty. Equally, for balance, the opportunity for Everton, the other end, when Dele Alli jumped up waving his hands in the air like he just don't care. Again, it's a penalty. He's got his hands in a position whereby the ball he's going to hit it, and it's a penalty. So how they saw either of those as not penalties makes absolutely no sense to me. I wonder maybe whether they thought, well, we didn't give that one, maybe we should have done, so let's not give this one. Maybe there's a bit of that involved. I don't know. There's not supposed to be, but wouldn't surprise me if it was. So for me, VAR, it is just not working. I just don't see the benefit of it. It's slowing the game down. It's taking away from it. It's missing clear and obvious errors. And I just don't understand, you know, how that's going to improve if we keep, you know, if the powers that be keep saying no, it's the correct decision when clearly it isn't the correct decision. I don't know. So that brings me on to my final point in the game, the terrible injury to Gomez, and I wish him all the best and a speedy recovery. Terrible injury to get. I think, to be fair, when I looked at it in real time, I felt that Son probably hit out at him in frustration and probably did try to foul him. Clearly, Sonny didn't do it to injure him. I don't for 1 minute think that Son did what he did to try to hurt the player. Certainly not to the extent that he did. But I do think he probably didn't intend to fail him. It looks like in the replays that he's fallen awkwardly and twisted his ankle, and that is what caused the actual break in his leg. He also collided with Aurier, who I'm not sure whether he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time or whether he added to the injury or not. But either way, I don't believe that he did it intentionally to injure the player. So I do feel it was a very unfortunate situation. I think if you look at Son's reaction, you can see how badly he took it. He was clearly distraught that he had injured the player in the way that he had, or caused the injury that he had. So for me, I don't think there was any doubt that there was clear remorse and that it was not his intention to do what had happened. I was surprised that the referee gave him a yellow card, but then when he saw the gravity of the injury, then changed it to a red card. Now that I don't quite get that, how you can do that. If you've given a yellow card, you've given a yellow card. You can't then take that away and give a straight red, surely. As far as I'm getting it, I think it is a VAR decision. So VAR reviewed it to say whether it should have been a red or not. Now, clearly, because the guy had got injured so badly, that's what's determining whether it's a red card or not. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, because it all comes back to the actual foul. He tripped him. There was no dangerous play. He didn't do it to injure the player or anything of that nature, and that would normally be a yellow card. But because he's hurt himself so severely, that then changes to a red card. Well, that's a really weird way of going, because you could have the most innocuous of challenges that could still result into a bad injury. So are we saying that even an innocuous challenge now is worthy of a red if the opponent hurts themselves worse than you? Not intended, because I wouldn't expect a player to intentionally hurt someone. But if you're going in shoulder to shoulder, for instance, with someone, you're going in shoulder to shoulder, but you knock them off balance and they twist their knee because it gets caught in a divot, their studs or whatever, and they break their knee, are you then saying that that's a red card? Based on the Sun situation, that looks like that's what they're saying. So I don't know, unless of course they're looking at it a different way and they're seeing something that clearly I'm not seeing. And like I say, I haven't watched any of it. I haven't watched it again. I watched the game yesterday. That was enough. Didn't want to watch it again. I was so disappointed with the performance that I didn't want to see it all again. But again, annoyingly, we get ourselves 1-0 up in the game. We're playing. We're trying to keep the ball, trying to keep ourselves in the game to make sure we don't give any stupid things away. That happens. You create 12 minutes of extra time. Sun gets sent off. Because Sun gets sent off, you're down to 10 men with 12 minutes to play. And then you wait until there's 2 minutes left before you bring Sessegnon on for Eriksen. Now, I'm not being funny, but what is the point of that? What is the actual point of bringing a player on for 2 minutes? 2 minutes. What's the point? It makes no sense to me. If you're, when you knew you got a player sent off and you've got 12 minutes to play, surely that's the time that you bring on someone like Dyer, or you bring on someone like Sessegnon or whatever to hold on to what you've got, because it's going to be really, really difficult to create anything else under that immense pressure. The crowd are up, they're really angry at Son, and the Tottenham team, and they're edging their players on. The players are desperate to pull something back, because to be fair, they probably didn't deserve to be 1-0 down anyway. So to me, I just think strange decision. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Poch, I don't. You're paid, many millions of pounds, and I'm just a mere, worker, So I obviously don't know as much as you do, but for me, I just found it a really strange set of decisions yesterday. But it would be interesting to know what's going on in the club, to understand why the decisions that are being made. What's the view? And maybe this Amazon Prime program, when that comes out, maybe all will be revealed. Maybe we'll find out what was going on back behind the scenes, and it'll all become clear exactly what was happening. But hey, look, I'll be back next week on Saturday at the Sheffield United game. So I'll see you all there. Keep the faith. Keep on believing it's going to turn around. Keep on supporting the team. Up the Spurs.